I'd like to welcome Brian Buckaloo to BuddhaMan's Musician's Corner tonight. Brian is a bass player in the band Continua. Their latest release is something I really like. I listened to the whole album. It's called Daybreak.
Yes,
And
sir.
Bishop was supposed to be here tonight, but Brian is the bass player for the band, and we're going to talk about the band and the music. So tell me a little bit how the band got together and how you guys created the first album here.
Okay, well, I'll try to make it as brief as I can. I know we don't have a lot of time, but there's a rather
We got
long
to
history.
we got the interviews used to be timed, and now I just do whatever I want. So it had a time on it. Like I had to be 15 minutes, and then you'd hear a voice go, "Oh, your time is almost up. You have 10 seconds." And it was rude interrupting music like that. So the nice people at Spearman, they changed that so we can talk for as long as we want. So yeah, tell me the story. I'm interested.
Good. Okay, well, basically how it started out is Bishop was a singer in a band with a gentleman who we had a mutual friendship with.
Uh-huh.
That's how I got introduced to Bishop. At the time, Bishop was actually living in California, working on becoming an actor in Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's how him and I actually got started wanting to collaborate with one another. I heard some of his songs, and I was like, man, I really like this guy's writing style. I think my approach to writing music and his really work together. So we started collaborating on one of his albums for a project he was working on, and
Yeah.
it really didn't go anywhere because at the time we were really limited in the from a technological aspect. Being that he
Yeah.
was in California and I was in Florida, we really didn't have the means necessary to sort of build that bridge. And we sort of went our separate ways after that. Unfortunately, he moved. He joined the Marines. Got out of acting. Joined the Marines and went
Wow.
out that way. And I got into recording. Went to school for music production and opened up my own home studio. And I messaged him a couple years later just to see where he was at. And he told me that he had really sort of gotten out of music in regards to writing and recording. But if I sent him some stuff I was working on, he'd give it a listen and let me know if he'd, want to help contribute to it. And sure enough, I think it really rekindled the fires in his creative heart. And the rest is really history. We got right back together, picked up where we left off before, except this time we had that technological advantage that we didn't have back then, and we were able to work from a distance. And that's really the way we put this album together. We file
What,
shared and did it that way.
that is amazing. It really is. You're the first band that has told me that you guys do that. I listened to Daybreak, man, and I ripped out 3 songs, and the ones I like the whole album. I like Always Tomorrow. What a great tune! The guitar work in that is just extraordinary. And I think it was it Fluorescent, and you start out with Fluorescent on bass, or
Yes,
was
sir.
yeah, man, that's a killer song too. And the title track Daybreak, I just think it's and then when really good. And then when I read how you were doing it, I went, that's like a psychic connection, like some kind of mental telepathy going on there, that the connection can be like that, and you're not in the same room doing it. I find that pretty amazing, man. Don't you find that pretty amazing?
I mean, I do. I find anything amazing. I mean, to me, just the
Yeah,
fact that I could get
yeah.
up, get up in the morning and
Hey,
and do anything is amazing to me.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, man.
But to be honest with you, I couldn't do it without Jason and Bishop, and I'd like to think that it's the same for them too. It takes all three of us. To me, if it's just me, it's just bass and whatever I contribute. Bishop brings so much to the table. Jason brings so much to the and it's a complete vision that way. It's like, if it's a song where, like you brought up Fluorescent, let's say I start out with a bass line, Bishop
Yeah.
and Jason, they flesh it out. They're like, and it becomes a song. Or Always Tomorrow, it starts out with Jason on an acoustic guitar, and then I do this and this, and then Bishop adds that, and then it's a song. With Daybreak,
Yeah.
it starts out with Bishop saying, "Hey, I'd like to do this." I throw this, and Jason throws that, and it's a song, and it's really amazing, to use your word. It really is amazing how we are able to build off of one another, and that really is I think a testament to the vision that we each have. Although we all each come from a different background, we do have a unified vision in where we want the songs to end up. Even if they may not be exactly in the same spot, we can all agree. We all come to a determination very early on. We can see the song going, and then we all just are able to sort of push it in that direction.
Well, it's working, man, and it has a
thank you.
It has a vitality to it. You know, it has. It's like you used the word, or somebody used the word on your Facebook page, reinvigorated by Day of Awakening. You know, and I listened to it, and believe me, man, I listen to a lot of music all day long, 7 days a week. It's like I don't do the interviews 7 days a week. I have 4 radio stations I tend to. And speaking of that, before what I wanted to say about the Awakening, which song I want to put one of your songs up on the Monster Rock, one of my stations. What song would you like me to put up there?
The one that we're right now we're kind of pushing is The Darkest City.
Okay.
I mean that would be fine with us. That's the opening track on the disc.
All right.
But if you're partial to one of the other ones, I trust you. You've got more experience in radio than any one of us. So, we're getting some spin off of The Darkest City right now in Cincinnati.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pick one I like, which I think it's Always Tomorrow. I think that's just a great song, man. The vocals and everything that's put together in that song it's just multi-layered. And it just has a really nice big sound to it, but yet it tells that story, you know, which is really cool. The way it starts, and then the middle of the song, and then the way it ends, the way it started. It's just really great. And I like I said, I like Fluorescent and Daybreak. So we'll do that. We'll put up the song, The Darkest City, in heavy rotation, and we'll put up let's see, Always Tomorrow.
Heck yeah. And I can't thank you enough for that. That's phenomenal.
Oh man, you are so welcome. It's just a pleasure to talk to people who can and do this kind of thing, you know. And you're my 492nd interview. So I've talked to people.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've talked to people in 40 different countries. And what I have learned, there's no walls, there's no borders, there's no prejudice. There's no bigotry. There's no hate. There's no competition. They say they do it for the love of the music. And that's how. And I said the following to a few people. If the musicians were up at the White House right now, I think they'd do a pretty good job. You know, put Tom Petty as the president for the hell of it. You know, and just go on again. And then let's go from there. You know?
Yes.
I just think that from Chile to Norway to Sweden to Germany to the Ukraine to Moscow, where they talk about the war and what's going on there, and the music saves their day, you know, like because there's so much going on around them that's not good, that the music in those countries of war, that it tends to take them out of there into another place, you know, so they're not there. And, you know, they frown on that in the Ukraine, Iran, in the Ukraine, and Moscow in Russia. They frown on rock and roll. So we, according to who I talk to and people all over the world, no matter who's in the White House or who's doing what, America is still the greatest country in the world. It really is. and
Absolutely.
and they won't bust your door down for playing rock and roll, and they won't
No.
arrest you. And that's what makes it a great thing. Is like what's ever going on in the world is going on, and you accept that, and then you keep the music alive. And I think that's extremely important, especially for guys like you who are musicians, to bring this kind of music to people, and they get to hear it. And I always say this to myself every morning. I say, at least we've got the music in
Yes.
so many ways. What's your favorite band? Do you have a favorite band like a band you've seen multiple times on stage?
For me, I'm more rooted in hard rock and heavy metal. So my favorite band is Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah, man.
But
One of my
I'm okay.
one of my
but
favorites too.
but I'm much more than I love all music. So, but for me, if I had to put my money on one show, I'm going to go see Iron Maiden. So,
Oh yeah, that's what I've heard. I've never seen them, but I really do. I've seen everybody else. My favorite show of all time, if I had to pick one, would be Led Zeppelin in 1977.
and
You
you
know,
couldn't go wrong there. That's one of the greatest. Or and for me, Queen is another great band.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
saw them too.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
Queen. You look at what they did at Live Fest there
Yeah,
back in the '80s.
yeah,
I mean, it was just it's an incredible thing to see what they were able to do. I was just I have a 10-year-old son, and I was just showing him the other day footage of from Live Aid where he's doing Radio Gaga
oh
and
yeah,
Freddie Mercury's got the whole audience doing the
yeah,
hand claps in time, and just that's music. That's exactly what you're talking about a minute ago about how liberating music can be. All the things that were going on in the world, and just for that moment,
yeah,
everyone, regardless of their religion, their political beliefs, they all were unified with Freddie Mercury on that stage, all
yeah,
coming together with their hands to the beat of the
yeah,
music. And
yeah.
that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. It's that interconnection, when you're on stage or when you're performing your music, that interconnection between the people in the audience and you. And I think the musicians, and I think, one of the reasons Roger Waters left Pink Floyd is just because of that. He couldn't make a connection with the audience anymore. And when you
Yes.
can't do that, you don't sell records, and you
Yes.
just kind of like floating along. But as long as you're doing your own thing. But I strongly believe that the international language is music. I mean, I talk to people in South America, in Chile, in Buenos Aires, in Peru, and all kinds of music, man. A lot of heavy metal in Chile. They're deep sea fishermen by day, catching swordfish and shit, and then they go play heavy metal. I'm talking like heavy metal at night. So they
And,
sleep about 3 hours.
and many of them are huge Iron Maiden fans. So
If I talk to people all over the world, they love Iron Maiden. You know, you kidding?
so
Hey,
yeah.
man, I interviewed these chicks. They're called the Iron Maidens. Have you ever
Oh
heard of
wow.
them?
I
Yeah,
I actually have, yes.
yeah.
You interviewed them?
I know them. They're friends of mine. They're real good people,
Awesome.
man. Yeah, they've been
Wow.
here.
See?
They've been here twice, and the girl who plays guitar is so hot, the blonde girl. But she was so nerdy when like I was when I was in school. I go, well, what instrument did you start on? Clarinet, and I said that's what I started on. So we kind of had a rapport. Her and I had a really good rapport, and they were on that show, World's Greatest Tribute Bands. Uh,
Yes.
they were on there, and I got to go, man. And I saw the guy who played David Bowie, but they were pretty phenomenal.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, she can really hit those notes like Dickerson. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
And they're really, really cool people. They have a big festival down in Rio de Janeiro every year. It's just an Iron Maiden festival, and all these Iron Maiden tribute bands. I don't know if Iron Maiden actually is part of it, but it's in Buenos Aires, and they go there every year, and there's like 100,000 people watching them. So yeah, that's a great band, man. That's a band I feel did rock and roll with a progressive edge to it, you know?
Oh my Lord, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and if you look at it from a bass player perspective, um, I mean, I cut my teeth early on with guys like Jaco Pastorius and
Oh yeah.
John Entwistle from the Who. But when I saw Steve Harris,
Yeah.
to me, it took me to another level. And when I was like, if I could emulate that guy, I feel
Yeah.
like I'll be doing my part. So and that's really what each of us does in Continua is we try to do our part. And if I've gone and I've seen bands where one guy is trying to do too much, and you can so you see there's kind of a distraction. With us, we
Yeah.
just try to do our part. If I handle this and I bring my A game, then Bishop's going to be able to do this, and Jason's going to be able to do that, and that's really how, and that's what I see from bands like Iron Maiden. You brought up
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. I
The
mean, it's
Who.
just the Who, my Lord. I
Yeah.
mean, you want to talk about guys that are just able. Led Zeppelin, the greatest of
Yeah.
all time. I mean, these bands are just, and you emulate them, and that's what we try to do. Is and you talk about music being the universal language. I mean, it transcends humanity, and that's what it is. It gets us at our core, and it brings the best out of us. And bands
Yes, it
like that were able to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and is why rock and roll will never die. I interviewed this dude in Indiana, it's a real small town out there with like 5,000 people, and he said that the music keeps him sane. You
Oh
know
my Lord, yeah. Hey, I'll tell you a true story. Music saved my life. I
how
mean,
how how did music save your life?
well, you a minute ago you mentioned the Day of Awakening thing, and that was my project that bridged me and Bishop when we first got together, and then when we got back together for Continua. Day of Awakening was my personal project that I started up.
Uh-huh.
And basically what it is for many years of my life, I really had issues with trying to stay clean and sober. I was a drug addict and an alcoholic to the point where it was holding me back and keeping me from being able to progress in my life, and
Right.
very debilitating. Okay, and very simply, I I just was at a point in my life where I had had enough. I was really convinced I convinced myself that I was a failure and I wasn't worthy of the life that I had been given from God, and
Right.
I was ready to take it upon myself to, in fact, end my life. And
Right.
even I had gone to the point, Alan, where I saw the tree. That as I was driving down the road, I was like, "That's the tree. That's the tree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna use as the instrument to end my suffering." And as it would be, I never went anywhere without a radio on. And right at that moment, a song came on the radio by Peter Gabriel called "Don't Give Up" off of his So
Oh,
album.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I to say that was a coincidence. I believe that was, I don't
Divine
know what
intervention.
happened. Yes, I don't. Yeah,
Yes.
there's nothing. There's no other explanation I have. Needless to
No.
say, as you know, I'm talking to you now. I didn't go for the tree.
Right.
That song and music saved my life.
Dang, that is. I have a slightly similar story. Cocaine took me down
Yes, sir.
real hard. It took me down, and I had gotten to the point to where I had lost just about everything except my dad, who's passed away last year. Wonderful man,
Well, I'm
who
sorry to
stuck
hear that.
by me. I went down to the very bottom of the very, very, very bottom. So my relatives, three of them, scraped me up off the street, and I wound up at the Betty Ford Center in 1989, and I've been clean and sober ever since.
Amen to
And
that.
amen to that, man. And I'll tell you what, I am so glad to talk to you because I always feel that sometimes we're living on borrowed time. That
Yes.
but I don't think that anymore. I think that if you live a a good life and you do things for other people and you just stay clean and sober, you'll probably live a ripe old age. You
Oh
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how, and I'm not trying to get too deep into this. I just thought it was important based upon some of the
Yeah.
questions you were asking. But
Sure.
this is how I look at it, Alan. For
Yeah.
the 20 years when I used and abused cocaine and alcohol freely,
Yeah.
going one day closer to death. And now
Right.
I look at it where each day I'm going one day closer to living. And
Exactly.
and that's just
And
how I look at it. And it's exactly what you say. I draw
yeah.
more positives out of negatives now than the
Right.
reverse. Every day when I was getting high and drinking, it wouldn't matter what was going on positive in my life. I would find a way to draw the misery out of it. And now they could come to my house, take the keys, change the locks, tell me I had to leave, and I'd say, hey, I guess that's just the plan for it. And I'd probably write a song about it, and it would be great. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there you go. And then what you do is destiny will take you to the next place. Another
Yeah,
door
yeah.
opens. I mean, you think about the time you've been clean and how many doors have been opened for you.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and I knew, deep down inside, even when you're using, that you're
Oh
not going to
yes.
go that far. You're going to be like David Lee Roth in the middle there, or Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
Or Ozzy Osbourne when they kicked him out of the band and said, "Okay, we're getting Dio," and so
Yeah.
how
Yes.
would you like that? And then Van Halen going and say, "Hey, David, we're gonna go get say Sammy Hagar. Yeah, we'll do that."
Yes.
So I was around those people. I was around all of those people, and that's how I got the new guy Journey and the Babies, and I met Dio when he was with Black Sabbath, and they were clean at that time. Dio was a hell of a guy, man, hell of a guy. He was a hugger. When I was leaving, I was interviewing Journey, and Black Sabbath was in the next trailer, and Jim Ladd was interviewing him, very famous DJ here. And
Oh
so
yes.
I walked in there, and I just told him how much I enjoyed the show, and he said, "Are you the guy from K Rock?" Yeah, and he stood up and he hugged me, and I was a little surprised and he said, "You're doing a good job, Alan." And I said, so that's my
Wow.
memory of the great Ronnie James Dio. He's just, all of them are real nice. Tony Iommi, Bill Ward. I mean, they're just nice guys.
Geezer Butler. You
You,
can't leave out Geezer Butler.
Oh, you can't leave out Geezer. He was there too. I remember I was in front of them walking towards the stage, and I turned around and Dio was right in back of me. I mean, it's some great memories. I like heavy metal too, man. I like all kinds of music, but one of the genres I really love. I can't wait to see Metallica again. They're
Yes.
coming to town. So
Yes.
anyway, it's been great talking to you, man. See, we went 24 minutes and nobody interrupted us because I'm the boss.
And I tell you what,
So get the hell out of here, man. I'll tell
yeah.
you what. I want to play the Darkest City, and
Awesome.
why don't you tell the folks out there where they can find your music?
All right. Okay. If anyone is interested, you can go to continuaband.com, and that's CONTINUABAND.com. We've got a couple of our songs up there. We also have some videos we've produced are on that website as well. Or you can go to iTunes and just search for Daybreak, which is the name of the LP, or the band Continua, and we'll come up. Our LP is available for streaming, download, and purchase right there on iTunes.
And as soon as I'm done with this interview, I'm going to put those two songs up in rotation so
Thank you.
everybody can hear it. There'll be
Thank you.
Cream and
Thank
Led
you.
Zeppelin.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome, man. So thanks for talking to me. And if you guys ever come to Los Angeles, you have an open invitation to come and be a guest on my Saturday night show.
Well, we'll
And
definitely give you a heads up on that. That sounds like something we'd be
all
more than
right,
happy
man.
to do.
Okay, well, nice talking to you. I'm going to play The Darkest City. The name of the album is Daybreak from the band Continua. Brian, you're going to hear a little bit of silence, and then I'm going to mic it. All right, here we
Thank
go.
you.
All right, man.
City.
You're listening to BuddhaMan.